Yo guys, my name is Rudo and I am a full-time stay-at-home, quit your day job crypto trader and investor. And today we're going to be looking at Bitcoin and a couple of coins like Solana, Trump, Tau, NAKA, DOGE, Veracity, and Sui. Some are trending, some are shit, some is great, some has good buying opportunities, and so forth. So I want to be sharing that with you. And if there's time at the end of the stream, I'll be doing some requests like Anthony's already asking as well, like Curve and so forth. So drop them in the comments for those joining in live. And let's get into this. I see Jaden is here. Hello, Jaden. Haven't seen you in a while as well. Nice to have you. Lizelle is here as well, safe as well. So we'll look at safe. Okay, so let's get into this. So keep sending the comments in. There's about 30 people joining in live at the moment. Probably pick up as we go. Yeah, tell me where you're tuning in from. Let me quickly see where you guys are at. Okay, now to look at Bitcoin. So I gave you guys the buy zone, and we did the long, dreadly analysis yesterday on how I'm still bullish, although the market didn't feel like it yesterday. Okay. And today it does look like a completely different picture. So from a weekly, daily, large time frame perspective, you know, it's almost like, okay, you know, why was I nervous yesterday in that regard? So the projection for me is still as follows. So as I've drawn it out, we broke through critical resistance. Okay. We've made a higher high, which I didn't even expect was going to happen. Okay, we came right back, tested the divergence pivot on the larger time frames, and now I want to see us move. And the fact that we created this with a very convincing daily candle with an insane wick tells us that this whole price action was probably a little bit of a manipulation, a little bit of a scare, and more to do with leverage traders, you know, putting themselves at risk. As opposed to, you know, Bitcoin spot holders doing something. Okay. See, Liesel is here from Paul. Oh, very hot there in Paul, I would imagine. Let's see elsewhere we're at. George is here looking for some alpha. Hello, George. Yes, man. I'll see if I can make that happen for you. Okay. Now, it's worth noting that today we've got a couple of news things. Now, I discussed this a little bit earlier. FOMC is going to be dropping and so forth. So these kind of things do have a big bearing on the way that the market moves. So for today, it's just consumer confidence. Later on, tomorrow, FOMC and so forth. So there's a lot that's going to be happening this week, which brings us to the argument of some of these altcoins. Now, the hope is that whatever's said there, and it's tricky at the moment, will be perceived in a point where people won't be scared. That will, in the end of the day, bring in confidence and potentially push down the Dixie. We need this thing to start trending bearish if we want to have more bullish momentum. It's simple as that. We know that. Oops, no, don't draw there. Let's just take away the RSI real quick. We know that when Bitcoin tops out, it's normally when the Dixie bottoms out. That's when money then flees to the safety of stablecoin. And when the Bitcoin bottoms out, that is when money starts moving away from the safety of stablecoin. They feel like they want to spend some money on a bargain. Okay. And that entire bear market run or that big retrace, I want to still see equivalent push. Okay. Now, the scary thing is, if you think about this was the last bull market for Bitcoin. And this is the tricky part that I'm struggling with before we're going to look at these alts, guys. Is if you look at the amount of Dixie gain that we needed to drive our previous bull market high, and we look at the amount of Dixie gain that we had now, one can argue that maybe the bull market has passed, or one can argue that maybe it's going to be an insane bull market due to the nature of where we are relative to our lows in the coins. Now, I want to kind of bet on the idea that it's going to do this. It's going to go into these areas here, purely because, come on. Why not? Super cycle and all that. Now, what do they mean by super cycle? Means Bitcoin goes from 102 to 200 or something $1,000. Take things level by level. I made a couple of crazy projections and predictions The last time around, I remember them clearly. We were sitting around here at 55, and I was thinking 250. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, you know. And it's fine making that prediction and selling people on a bullish narrative. But the problem is then they buy in on that idea and they get trapped. They force themselves sticking to a specific price target. So learned through this not to try and do that. So I apologize if that is what you're looking for. This is not the channel. For the rest of you guys, yes, do what DM says. Smash the likes. Let's get into this. Okay. So before I look at the alts, guys, friendly reminder, videos brought to you compliments of Bybit. And if you want to support the content, and you want to join my Discord and want to be part of the community, all you need to do is follow the links in the video description. You can actually go and check out my partnerships. You can go to the Bybit partnership, okay? And what you can do is in addition for that, you'll actually get access to my buddy indicator, the divergence scanner that's in the Discord. The Discord had a completely new workout, and the automated buy sell signals in the Discord and so forth. So you'll have enough to do within the Discord. And just to add to that, the public side of the Discord opened today. So if you want to go chat, come and say hi to me in the Discord. For all you guys that's already there, everybody that says hi will get a special role. Okay, so come and say hi to me in the Discord today. Let's get this thing going. And just to give you a little sneak peek of what will happen if you do sign up with Bybit, it basically unlocks a lot more for you guys. It gives you the signal bots. It actually allows you to access the live trading section as well. I've been there the whole day with everybody, and at the moment, let's see how our trade is doing. Hopefully good. We're in the buy zone with our bigger trade. So I'm first entry there, probably going to enter soon with the ideas that we'll probably be breaking up pretty soon for Ethereum. Okay, so let's continue on to the alts then. All that and more, all the links in the video description. Okay, so bigger picture, let's just quickly refresh. I want to see alt season. In order for me to see alt season, before we're going to talk about all those coins like Trump and the argument is ETH needs to be big. It needs to start trending strong. And the simplest way to look at this, and probably what I can do is I can take a little bit of the old noise away for you guys. So we can just have a look at where we are now. Let's do that. Okay. Where we are now. I want to see this thing start climbing back and attacking its long-term axis. If you think about this, this is Ethereum. It sold off. It rejected at those previous highs within this angle. So this is the rate of adoption. That's almost the easiest way to try and explain this to you guys, is that this is ETH rate. This is ETH's rate of adoption. English tongue twister there, funny enough. And the argument is I want to see this momentum last, and if we can reclaim that, you know, big things are going to happen for Ethereum. We'll probably surpass the $7,000 or the $8,000 level. So there's a lot of gains. Now, I'm not necessarily excited on those gains for Ethereum, but I'm excited of what it's going to do for the other alts. Okay, it's simple as that. So resistance at the moment is definitely there. People are reluctant with Ethereum. That's why that Dixie is so strong. And these kind of trend lines, you know, they have a psychological hold on price. So if we get above it, people will change their mind. So hopefully ETH does get and reclaim that $3,350 level. And all these imbalances, they kind of have been tested, you know. So if it does this, it means that there's now that imbalance is almost a promise to buy if price gets there, because everybody that's shorted here, their stops will be hidden there. Everybody that's shorted there, if they haven't taken profit, their stops will be hidden there. And hedge traders and so forth, they will also have to vacate their shorts and unhedge themselves if price moves in there, because they don't want to be underwater. And this means that ETH does have a really good push up potential for us. Okay. Let's go on. Let's quickly see what else we have. I see there's a request for Pyth. There's some for Rune and Ondo as well. Let's see what Yuto has to say. Yuto always has a lot on his mind. Okay. Yuto, hope all is well. Can I finally stay watching this? I can finally stay watching the stream. Well, that's nice. My bag has been obliterated because I haven't been paying attention because of my full-time job. Hopefully I can retire. My friend, it's a tough thing. I did this stuff as well, doing, with being an architect full time. And a lot of the time the day job needs to take preference over your investment bags. So you end up looking at it, in a frustrating way. But think of it like this. When you invest in something on a daily candle, you only need to watch it once in the morning and make a decision based on that. It's the trading part that I think we do too much. When we look at our hodl bags, we want to try and trade, invest. And I always say this, and I'm going to say this to you again, never invest in a trade. That means don't get emotionally invested in that. Otherwise the success of the outcome is going to impact the way your day goes and the way you act. And never trade an investment, meaning I'm buying, I don't care how much it's chopping up and down, trying to ladder in better prices or something, because it's an investment. You slowly get in and you build your position up to a point where you start slowly getting out of your investment when you want to realize the gains. That's the key there. Okay, let's go over to the hot coins then that everybody wants to check. So the first one on the list is Solana. Who of you guys have Solana in your bags? Let's take it from there. Let me know in the comments who owns Solana. What you can do is just type in a 777 gamble coin for the day. Type in a 777. Let's see if you've got Sol. I see Jaden has Sol. Who else has got Sol? Liesel, you've got Sol. And let's see else. I bought Solana. I want to brag a little bit, if you'll allow me to do so. Okay. This is where I bought my Solana. Right there. And I'm exceptionally happy about my buy. Okay, so I bought some there, I bought some there, and I bought some there. And my average buy price for Solana is $13. There, about $13 and a couple of cents. Okay, so it's something like this. So I've got an amazing Sol position. Noting that in the previous bull market, I didn't buy any Sol. Okay, I traded the thing but I didn't own any spots. So I said to myself, this time around, I'm going to definitely not miss out on this. Okay, so I'm quite in my, I'm quite happy with this. Okay, with the fact that I've got those sols. And then what I did do as well, just to give you guys a little bit of a background how I'm managing my Solana. Okay, when we were in this long consolidation, I bought some Solana long-term leverage positions. And I don't know, it's somewhere around these areas, somewhere around these lows is where I did buy that. I don't know the exact price. Okay, so from a Solana point of view, my frame of reference, with the way that I'm looking at this, is and saying to myself, I've got a lot of room for fuckery and I'll still be in profit. Okay, but if I want to be proactive, it's what I just said. You never trade an investment and you never want to invest in a trade, okay? So if I don't want to trade an investment, I need to always have a clear line where I say, lose this, I'm losing you. It's simple as that. So to show you how I did it the last time round, I'm just going to delete those boxes and take it from this area like this. I'm just going to bring in the RSI and I'm going to scale it to weekly time frame. So this helps me remain sane. Otherwise, I fall in love with things too much and then I overtrade them too much. I think it happens to all of us, to be honest. Okay. So when we were at this area, the argument was that there was bearish divergence. Okay, you can clearly see that. And the take profit that I had in mind was around these levels, say 145. It shot right through it. Okay. Once it did that, the way that I looked at it said, okay, if it stays above that divergence pivot, that highest point on the RSI, I'll remain bullish, because as long as it does, it means there's more to come. Okay. And if we lose that level, meaning we start trading below this, daily candles open and close, stuff like this, then I have to consider taking profit more aggressively, because it opens the door for the next area of support, and that would be around $25. That's not something I want. Okay. Now, luckily enough, it stayed above that area and we moved on higher still. But here's the problem that I find myself. Remember now what I said to you guys with the Dixie a little bit earlier. Okay. Being in this area, being in this imbalance, the problem is if this thing turns bullish real quick, we could easily jump back up to 119. And that would put a lot of pressure on the alts and risk on assets as well. Okay. So taking that back to Solana, the rule still applies. The way I'm going to look at this the same way. Saying to myself, okay, what have you done? You've made a higher high again. Okay. There's the pivot again. So I'm going to mark it with that same green line, thou shalt not cross. Okay, let's take away that FIPS. And I'm saying to myself, stay above that area. And this is the part which is a little iffy, because by all means, I mean, you need to decide how the line goes. I normally say one candle open and close below it. And I'm going to be honest, I decided to give this thing a little bit of breathing room, because we only had one candle open and close below the line. All the other candles were just chopping around the line with the argument that we're trying to test support. Okay, so I gave it the benefit of the doubt, saying, okay, if it is, it's probably going to bounce a little bit lower and then come back, and then I will exit. And funny enough, we made a higher high. Solana just pushed all-time highs. Everybody is praising it with its impressive put-through and low trading fees and all the other stuff that's going with it. And that kind of positive marketing is consistently bringing more people into Solana. Okay, look at the amount of people owning Solana. Jaden, Liesel, Stefan, George, JJ, Edu, all having Solana. Anybody else? There's 222 people. Let me know. Just type in if you got Sol. I'll bring your name up. I would love to do that, So, owning Solana. It's simple as that. So now where I find myself now is exactly the same thing. If I keep on looking at the RSI, and this is the danger of being in a good project, guys. The dangers of being in good projects. Okay, so when you now move this on, and I'm meriting this not from the performance and its throughput and all that. I'm meriting it from I bought it at a great price and I'm making a killing at the moment. Okay, that's how I'm meriting this. Okay, if I look at this from this point onwards, it broke one of my major rules, and this is on the weekly time frame. Okay, it's making a higher high. For all intents purposes, if you're looking at the closing price, it didn't. It's weak bearish divergence. But I'm just going to be real with you guys. I'm treating it as it's bearish divergence, and we fell below the pivot. So the line I need to draw in the sand with Solana is very tight, 200. And I said this to you guys yesterday. 200 would be a good buy. So if it goes down even up to 200, that would be considered a good buy. But understand the momentum is not there. Irrespective of the fact that the marketing is there. If you go online on Twitter, you go everywhere, everybody's Solana, Solana, Solana. So it's definitely getting the eyes on it, but it's not moving in the same way. And that's divergence, my friends. So get yourself ready to maybe sell some Sol if it falls below 200 level. And then you need to say to yourself, okay, it's been an amazing ride. Okay, I had it for forever. $12, $13 turns to $200. A couple of those, you're smiling at the moment, but understand that that is something I need to do, because if it does, Solana is going to get trapped into this emotional market cycle. More people are going to say, oh, shit, we've just fallen below that area where we shouldn't. Anxiety is going to kick in, and then it's going to be a quick run all the way down to capitulation and anger when they're going to start blaming their favorite influencers again. I remember the last bull cycle channels, Crypto Banter, they guys had so much heat, and they constantly had to bat away people making videos of them being scammers and scam artists. I've been straight up with you guys from the beginning. We're frenemies. If somebody uses you for your exit liquidity, the whole idea is you use that guy to get in on a great deal as well. Irrespective if it's true or not true, if you can prove it or not prove it, I don't really care. We're frenemies here. Okay, everybody that it's in crypto is in it to make money. Simple as that. Okay, so if you want to leave the bleeding heart at home, please do, because in the end of the day, that's just the reality of this. Okay, so those kind of emotions are going to kick in, and people are going to sell, and they're going to sell hard because they don't want to give away the good gains. Okay, so that's my Solana analysis. So I hope that I don't talk about Solana so much, so often, but I hope that it's thorough enough that you guys have a really good idea of where I stand, how we need to look at that, and understand that tops will remain bullish. That's the whole thing about a bull market. It's going to remain bullish until one day you look back and say, oh, 3 weeks ago I should have sold, You don't see sold to 700. I see sold to 1,200, my friend. My leverage positions take profits 1,200 for Solana at the moment on the exchange, placed, ready for it. Okay, doesn't mean that it's going to go there. Okay, that's the tricky thing about this. Okay, I think from a statistical point of view, that's a potential. So let me show you this. I'm going to go, I don't want to bring up Buddy. I'm going to take away the RSI real quick, and I'm just going to do this. Okay. if we're looking at this being a wave, so let's say that's the low, which I never bought, the Solana, the OG Solana low, and we're saying that that's one wave. We came back, and now we're going to go and we're going to do an extension. So typically what you will do is you'll be looking at your 1618 extension. So I'm going to bring this up. It's not going to, I'm not using the right fib tool, but I'm going to bullshit the fib tool so that it does, it's whether it's inverted or not, it's probably not going to change a lot for you guys. But I just want to, 1618 would typically be the next area. So now it's going to sit down there. I'm just going to reverse it. So just bear with me. I can use a different tool. Okay. So when you're at your 1618, that's your TP for your initial first move. But we've seen with these kind of moves, okay? So I'm going to use that same fib now, and I'm just going to move it there. That it's not the 1618 that gets hit, but the 4618, okay? And so I'm saying to myself, if we can get to that 4618, where's my 4618? There we go, 4618, okay? That is the highest probable point when we go in a breakout, a bull market move. So you'll look at the first wave and you'll put around a 4618, and then you'll wait for that to happen. So statistically, that's the area. So now if I do that and I say, okay, this is the lower, that's TP1, my lower end of my investment range. And then obviously the 4618 sits right there, the 1200. And there's the line already marked for myself. So it's not like I'm pulling the shit out of thin air. I'm using my technical analysis to kind of move the base. So if it gets there, think about the possibilities. Amazing, okay? But now the problem is if I do this kind of stuff, people will love you because you're giving them insanely good news. And then what if it doesn't get there? You're everybody's idiot. So take it with a pinch of salt. It's still far off. I don't know whether we're going to get there, okay? Okay, that's it. So let's see what else we have. Another one that I want to talk to you guys about. Now, in the previous bull cycle, let's quickly maybe do SUI. Let's do another layer one SUI real quick. Okay, so the argument for SUI still remains the same, guys. I mean, I brought this to you guys really early when we were down here. We had a good little chop around this area, and SUI surprised the hell out of me. So it went to the sell zone, came right back, tested support. You could buy right back there, and it just kept on going. But where it's at now, it's sitting in that situation where if it loses this 3.8, it's bad. Now, it's potentially going to do exactly what Solana did. And then at a later stage run, because we need that reaccumulation. There's not been a lot of accumulation there. So it will probably do it over there. And that's just the nature of how the market works. You've got the scenario that the market goes through these, it needs to do this, basically, these markup phases. Okay, so it's a typical thing, goes through a markup phase. Not just because it's going sideways doesn't mean that it's going to turn bearish. It just means that there's more demand entering and the market needs to figure itself out. And hopefully the demand wins, and then it's going to keep on going higher. So don't look at this as because it's sideways, now it needs to be bearish. Solana is a really good example of just that, So you have your, let's just bring Solana back. There we go. You have your accumulation, you have a reaccumulation, and now you're basically trying it again. So that is typically what you need to keep in mind. So SUI could be moving through that same kind of phase. Okay. More to say on SUI, I can't really, it is where it is. If you don't have any SUI, you want to buy some, it's a risky buy, but it's in a buy zone to potentially try and go make a higher high. And the second part of that risk is it can go sideways before it does that. Okay. Let's see. Hello from Colombia. You want a grass? I haven't clicked the grass. I have to. I've been getting that requested a couple of times now, so I'll definitely make sure to go through grass. Now, the next coin I want to bring to you guys, Dogecoin. Now, the thing with Doge is exactly one of those mistakes I made in the previous bull cycle, and it seems I've made the same mistake in this bull cycle because I don't have giant Doge bags. Just don't, and I, looking at this, I think to myself, you're an idiot. You should have known better. You should have learned better. And if you use that same kind of basis, there's still room for Doge to go, maybe to $1. And this is not Doge on Bybit. If I look for Doge probably on Binance, which, Doge was there before Bybit existed. So if you look at this version, there's a lot. And then this thing can literally go, once it goes into the dollar ranges. But sometimes you just miss the bus, and fuck it. I hate the fact that I missed the bus on these things. But I mean, you've got a limited amount of money. You can't buy everything. So looking at it now, I wish I had more. I wish all those things. Just let it go. But at least there's one thing that we've learned from this. And this is basically what I want to try and share with you guys. Okay. So the bus is gone with Doge probably. And it's in that same situation where if we bring in the RSI, there's clearly a big drop in momentum, okay, from these pivots, and we're below these pivots, okay. So if I scale this up to weekly time frame, we're still okay, but you almost, it makes sense to say that Doge at that area makes more sense as a buy than where it's at now. So it's more of a trade area where you can add with momentum to try and trade this thing higher than invest in it. But now that you know that this is Doge and where it's at, you also know how it moved in the previous cycle. And what drove it was Elon Musk. Every time he made a Doge comment, price just took off out of the thin air, just went every time. So it's funny. It's just the nature of it. People like the guy, and every time at some stages, we even made comments on his page and try and tag him to try and get people when we were in leverage trades to try and push the price up. And I swear, I think it worked at some of our trades we did. And the same now is happening with Trump. Okay, so it's early days. It's probably going to turn into that same kind of it's going to have that same kind of energy in this. Okay, so I've been staying away from the Trump and the Melania coins with you guys on the stream for a specific reason. It's people burn. They get excited when something does sound good and they want to go get it now. And then you're dealing with a lot of people. It went from $50 to $29. You're down half your money. You're not feeling great about this. Maybe made a bad decision. And it's that kind of thing. So where it's at, it's not bullish yet, guys. I won't touch it yet, but I'm definitely going to start just marking it out with you guys so you can keep an eye on it and maybe grab some good entries when they come around. Now, critical areas support or pivotal areas is there. So if we bring our RSI in, you can see there's not a lot to work with, okay? We do have our strong bullish divergence, which is a bearish signal unless we reclaim that pivot. So from the seller's side, okay, whoever created the coin and dumps on your ass, that guy, if it climbs above that area, he's going to stop dumping on your ass because clearly he has sold all these coins, or he's weak enough that the demand for the coin is overruling or overwhelming his supply, the coins he's making available on the exchange. Okay, so that is a critical area. And then how you would normally then say is, okay, if that is a break, what could happen is we can go to some of these levels and have another attempt at that. There's many of these coins that do that. You get to that point, and then it keeps on falling even further. I think the best example of this one is GUMMY. So, be fair warned. I want to just bring it up to you guys. When you look at GUMMY here, it looked exactly like the Trump coin. Okay, so we've now fallen. Everybody's exhausted, and we're marking out the pivots, the divergence is there. Let me just bring this on to weekly because GUMMY is older now than Trump, okay? So you've got your divergence. Oh, well, that was there. I was looking at at that stage, I was looking at a lower time frame as well, it seems like it. Okay, so there we go. It was there, and I was looking at it, and then what does it do? It gives you this little fake pump and then dumps even further. So there's very high risk on these kind of meme season coins, okay? And then we had another attempt at it. There, okay, finally, maybe this is the one. And then it dumps even further, So from the first buy attempt, and I mean, I was very reluctant there, but I mean, from there to there, it's down 71%. So think about this when you look at these kind of coins, guys. It is one of those things. They're going to pump like it. They're going to make you think like you're missing out on the world, and they'll make highlights on these kind of platforms, because of the 1 day and the crazy day behind it. Where is it? I'm not seeing it here, but and at the end of the day, they do more harm than good to your portfolio. So just be mindful of this, okay? Who of you guys have got Trump? Let me know. Let me know. Do you have Trump? Is it something I need to look at again? Or else I can just park it to the side and forget about Let me know. Let's see. Okay, right. Then, so, and now the second part of this though is Trump is speaking tomorrow, and I'm gonna buy some for the next reason. Well, not Trump is speaking, but I'm gonna buy it for next time. Every time there's gonna be something good or positive in the US, his marketing team, he's gonna talk about it, and that might just drive the price up. So you might have that same Elon Musk effect like we had in the previous bull cycle. When something positive happens, Trump coin pumps. Okay, so fingers crossed. I mean, I think that is the spirit of why the coin was created in the first place. Okay, now let's move on to the next coin that I want to bring to your attention. Let's see. No, people don't have Trump. It seems like nobody has got Trump coin. Okay, so I don't need to talk about Trump coin again. Let's talk about the next one. Okay, so Veracity as a coin, and the simplest, easiest way to try and explain this is, they're trying to help people monetize their video content in a way. And I don't know a lot about Veracity, but it's getting a lot of hype at the moment. So if we look at this thing on a daily time frame, it's been bobbing in our buy zone for forever. Okay, it went to the rebalance zone. So anybody that got in at the worst time on this one, okay, those guys now had an opportunity to rebalance themselves and buy the buy zone. So I'm going to tell you guys again, this is the buy zone. This is gonna potentially run because look at this long accumulation. Okay, and that's it. That's an old chart on a new year. And when you have that long accumulation, when the breakout finally happens, it's going to be quick, violent, and it's going to be over. So that's what you're waiting for. So plant some seeds here because there's going to be something sprouting out soon, and it's probably going to fall right back. And I just want to be in on that ride, guys. Okay. Then let's talk about NAKA. Now, utility tokens took a real big punt a while ago. Everybody was saying this is the next narrative, okay? And you can clearly see that clearly it's not the next narrative if you look at all these things like prop, NAKA, CS, IX, they're all coming down, okay? So I want to talk to you guys about NAKA because the problem that I have with this one is it's now going lower. Now, gaming hasn't really picked up, okay? It hasn't really picked up this bull cycle yet. So is this thing ready? I think this thing's going to go price discovery and it's going to start hurting a lot of people. So the easiest way to kind of put this in perspective is that, invert everything and say to yourself, okay, would you buy this or would you short this? Okay. And, the divergence is there and it's kind of tricky. So it's one of those, it's a tricky one. So just keep it in the back of your head. I'm going to track this and see if there's something, because I know when the run happens, it will probably make a lot of money for us. But at the moment, it's just one of those danger ones. They're going to be, it's being promoted a lot, being talked about a lot. Just maybe consider skipping out on this one, okay, for now. Then YUP, we talked about YUP. I want to talk about this one, a big mover again. Okay, so the thing with YUP is, initially, the argument is always when you go into the wick, 50% of the wick, that is when you need to get out, okay? It's just a statistical good area. So we're at that area again. So nothing has changed for me in this regard. I still feel like this is a TP coin as opposed to a get in on it coin, okay? So a friendly reminder, I know there's a couple of you guys in YUP. It's where it's at, is I would sell it, okay? So just keep that in the back of your head. Where's the buy? Well, the trick is the buy was already at 75. And if you sell and it does go higher, you will have an opportunity to buy it back at where it's at. But then it's trending because then you'll have a lot more momentum behind it. So keep an eye on this one and maybe just get your TPs in on YUP. Okay, sell YUP. Okay. Let's see what else I want to talk to you guys about. I want to talk to you guys about Tau. Okay. Now, it's also been mentioned a lot. It's holding its strength, funny enough, okay? Accumulation so it's looking really strong. The problem that I have with this one is, well, I actually don't have a problem with this one other than the fact that I don't have a lot of it, okay? And you can clearly see that when it starts moving into moves like this, I mean, it's not TA. let me be straight with you. Drawing lines like that, anybody can do it. That's not technical analysis. But typically, it tells you where there's a frame of reference or a frame of resistance. So support is currently sitting in here for price. We do have divergence. It's probably in a good area. So potentially there's a lazy trade. Should we break this trend, it will probably jump back up to these areas over here. Okay. So there's a lazy trade to be had where this thing can probably go up $200 per coin, and you can make that easy money. So it's 30%, 40%. So keep an eye out on that one. The marketing and the hype behind this, probably if this happens, drive it into those levels quite easily. Okay. And then that's everything that I wanted to share with you guys. I've gone through all the coins that I wanted to do. So let's go to your comments and see what you guys have. So you've been very quiet today, or I've been talking way too much, if that is the case. Let me know. Let's see. Can you chart UOS? I have some and it pumped a bit. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at UOS from Edu. UOS. I'm going to go with the KuCoin version. So this is that exact low liquidity spikes that makes me very, shaky with coins like this. Big spikes, big reversals, big spikes, big reversals. It's already got divergence. Will this thing run a little bit more? Yes, it could potentially run a little bit more. But if you look at this now, if you take away the noise, where we're at, you can see that where's the last imbalance? When did this thing change momentum so fast? Right there. So I would consider 20 cents thereabout to say that, unfinished business there. A lot of sellers are going to act in there. So maybe between where it's at now and 20 cents, consider selling some. It will in that same argument, because it's so fast, it will come back and test 12 or 15 cents. And you can always grab it there a month or two from now, a little bit further. Now, do you sell everything? Hell no. Sell a third or something like that. You do the balance of how much you've risked, how much you've made. So you can have money for something else that's maybe still here. And if it continues on rallying, you're not feeling like you need to go kick the cat in the corner, So it's an important thing to just keep that in the back of your head. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Safe. Let's have a look at Safe. Now, I made the joke, it's safe to enter Safe, and it wasn't safe, if I can remember correctly. So let's bring up Safe. Okay. Well, it was there. It wasn't that bad. But okay. So for me, there's a different safe pairing. I used a different safe pairing. Which one did I use? Bybit. There we go. There's the safe I wanted. Okay. So there you go. So that was the initial trade, the initial make your money, get out that I did with everybody in the Discord, actually. And from where it's at now, you can see that we're testing on support, but this is more of a bearish continuation than something bullish. So my best bet is if there's a shakeout, Bitcoin goes 71, worst case scenario. Safe is going to take a hammering, and we're below critical support areas. So for me, it's not a safe coin to be in at the moment. So if you're in a situation where you still have profit, secure some profit, cover yourself. And then there's the other side, the flip side to this. If the market starts turning bullish extremely quickly, you have that reload scenario where it's at, but it's at that cheapest area where you would want to grab it. Okay, so if you don't have any and you like the protocol and you like what they're doing, fundamentally you agree with what they're on about, you'll have enough conviction to hold it, and you'll have a really good discount at the moment to grab that buy. So it's between two places, whether you bought it to make money or whether you're in it for the long haul. Long haul buyers can consider this as potentially a buy zone. But if you're in it for the money, it has more downwards risk than anything else. So yeah, that's it. So if you're in the red, just sell and take the loss. I never say that, Liesel, and you should never do that. Okay, never act in full measures. Okay, so if you're in it in the red, sell some. Let the rest do its thing, because it can still go back, and then you've got that. And then that fresh capital you can redeploy somewhere else, on something that has more upwards potential. It's a tricky thing. Once you start falling into coins that go against you, you almost don't want to sell, because it kind of locks in the fact that you were wrong, and it brings new risk to your portfolio, risk that you cannot afford, because if you're wrong on that coin again, you've got another coin you're riding down. and I did that in my initial area when I started buying crypto. So the other side is, if you have enough time horizon to just let it ride, and be done with it, so put a point. I can write this thing off. Safe's either going to go make me money or not, and focus on trading. Focus on something that is making you profit, and how you to manage that, and not turn your back on this, but just there's no one rule I can say that's going to help you get out of this thing and save face. You get where I'm going with that, okay? I'm on Bitcoin long now. Yes, we trade in the mornings, my friend. So if you want to have a look at that, this morning's setup, this is the setup from this morning. Yesterday I shared that, and the argument was that we need to hunt for Bitcoin longs. We were there this morning between this area, and we're at that area where it's now testing demand. The tricky thing with BTC longs at the moment is that you can see that we've already now creating a new channel. So what I would do is, if we stay in this area, more longs to be had. If we start falling below that line again, this demand zone, these two demand zones, probably going to get tested. And that means that there's going to be more selling pressure for us. Okay. While we're there, I just quickly want to have a look at my ETH. The ETH long is slowly but surely creeping back up. That's not bad. So let's see. Hopefully we'll get that move in. Let's see what else we have in the comments real quick. I'm going to scroll back up to the earlier comments. Throw yours in, and I'll scroll right back down once I get there. So there was a request for, I think, FLR van El Faladi Isam. Oh, probably destroyed your name. I apologize, my friend. Me no disrespect, but it's a tough one for me on my tongue. Let's talk FLR real quick. FLR. Okay. I'll probably go for something like Coinbase, probably, or maybe let's see what else we have to make sure I've got enough data, because there's exchanges renowned for listing things early, and then the ones that not. KuCoin being one of those early lister exchanges. Okay, so they don't vet projects too much. Not like I'm trying to do a fundamental analysis on your bags. Okay, so the exact same thing now here, but it's a little different. We were just talking about safe, and as I explained to you guys, that area is where safe is at. Okay, so if it holds the support, you have that exit rally that you could use to get yourself out, and also to take profit, and maybe the market turns uber bullish, and that's the run that takes it. But where this one is at, it is trying to find a new low again. So it's almost trying to do exactly that, but on a smaller time frame. And what I mean by this is it's contracting. So it's not a necessarily bad thing. As the supply-demand dynamics is wearing themselves out, the amount of supply and the amount of demand is getting less. So the zigzag, the back and forth, is becoming all less and less and less until it starts stabilizing. And then it's going to fall into what will be its harmonious next big move, be it up or down. Okay. And for that to happen, this would be considered the bearish side, or this would be considered the bullish side. And it will chop and change around this area, consolidate until it wants to break out into whichever one of these directions. So keep an eye on that. Okay. So I would rather say, looking at this one, this is still a plausible area for where price can go to. A Bitcoin retrace 1% again, or just goes and tests the previous support, and somebody shits the bed and this thing sells off. It's just the nature of this. Okay, so I hope that helps in that regard. Let's see what else we have. NEXO. Any chance to have a quick look at yeah, I want to look at that because I from Marco, because I brought that to you guys a while ago and I haven't been back at that one. So let's quickly do that. So the last discussion that I had with you guys was that hopefully this is going to be the one and the move and you can clearly see it's not there. So it's in that situation where it's the price discovery. Okay. And while it's in that price discovery, in that new line, it's normally exciting. People want to get in on these, but I'll normally wait and I, correct me if I'm wrong, go and have a look at that. Wait 2 weeks after it launches. Okay. And where we're at now, it's now 6th of Jan. It's probably almost close to that scenario. So it's not done falling. You know, everybody can see that. You don't need me to tell you that, but it is slowing down. So the good part here is, if we still look at this on a smaller time frame, it is slowing down. It will probably fall down to about 40 cents, 50 cents, consolidate there, hopefully build a base, and then rally back up. Okay. So, yeah. Will I buy? No, I won't buy now. You know, it's as simple as that. Very interesting volume bars. Look, volume is sometimes a tricky thing. So let's have a look at NEXO and let's see what the volume is you're referring to. Because it's sometimes open to the perception. If the order book is thin, the volume book won't move. The volume won't move either. You know, it won't move a lot, and price will move a lot. But the nature is, if somebody is bullying the price, they can make an insane amount of transactions, bring up the volume, and nothing happens to price. It's literally just to try and make a market, you know, and then that can trap you into some crazy stuff. So let's quickly do this. Let's load the volume indicator. Now, I used to use volume as my divergence calculator, which means I would look at the volume bars on these kind of things and then take it from there. Okay. At this stage, volume seems for me with this one seems to be relatively flat. Higher volume leading up to a higher high in price could suggest that there's still a little bit of harmony in the way that it wants to trend, but we've fallen below a critical divergence pivot, and we're reclaiming this maybe. So where could this thing go? Potentially it could still break up and maybe go to $4 or $2. It has upward potential. The fact that there is a higher volume typically suggests more to come, you know. So it quiets down, breaks out, the volume goes up again. And you normally, what you don't want to see is something that goes on higher. So I'm going to try and draw it here. Something goes on higher, but then the volume follows that, and then as it goes higher still, the volume starts dropping away. And a good coin we could probably use for something like that is your KMNO. Well, it didn't do it. It went higher, and then high volume at the bottom. So that buy zone is valid. You know, there's demand there, so it's getting bought up curve. First request for the day. So I think on 20 ask for this right in the beginning. Okay, on 20, there you go, buddy. So this one would probably be a really good example of just that. Okay, see the volume rise, see the volume rise, see the volume dissipate, but price goes higher. There's the divergence. So it tells you that this move is not being supported by physical buyers. Okay, and it will go to its previous area of support. So somewhere between 63 and 37 cents is potentially where you're going to need to grab this one. Okay, let's clean up the crazy in the charts from previous discussions. But that is still the area, and nothing has changed for me there. So you've got a little bit of a volume tutorial there as well. Okay. Last comment. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for taking the time joining it with me. Let's see what else. Can you have a look at Plume, please? Real world asset play working on Ondo. So let's do Plume for real world assets, but I thought real world assets going to be really sexy, and it just didn't end it up. You know, it's nothing is working, you know, from the real world. Centrifuge, all these things are all wrecked. Okay. So let's see what Plume is doing. So it's brand new in regard on Bybit. Was it listed somewhere else earlier? Let's quickly see. Not there. Mexi is normally, Gate.io is normally quick with these things. So that's what it is. Okay. So stay away. If you bought it on a pre-market, you know, and you have some supply available, this is the time when you need to sell it. Okay, so it can go up, it can go down. I know all that whole uncertainty, that's the frustration with this thing, but statistically from its first launch, it's never ever going to really go past that level at 16 cents. So where it's at now, you've got more downward potential than upward potential on this one. Okay, rather wait for this thing to bottom out and go. You know, if you think about Centrifuge, when I joined, I had an opportunity to actually buy. They contacted me, would you grab in on this, and I just missed the bus. I still got the Telegram messages and everything. I forgot. And looking at where it's at now, the thing is with on launch day stuff, you know, as there's a predetermined market valuation but then there's the market perception of that valuation. And that's what this is. Okay. And I've learned that although it feels like an unfair advantage if you can have access to a pre-market, I don't even buy the pre-markets anymore, purely because I'm on groups where I can get them on a daily. Okay. It just doesn't make sense having something marked up for you, but you cannot sell it. So, and then in the end of the day, when you do have all the coins, we're at the end of the bull market and you're wrecked in any case. So that just doesn't pay for me, to be honest with you. So I rather want to have control over my stuff, get in early, get in on the TPs and be done with it. And I know this one, and I know I said this, I can remember this clearly. We crossed the red line, expect more. Okay. And it just didn't. Fell below that divergence pivot, okay, gave you an out, and that's it. And it's in a buy zone, technically, for me. You know, if you look at this whole move, now forgive the squibbles, just going to apply that reload investment flip there. It's in a buy zone. It's in that area where if it wants to go, it's as cheap as it could potentially go. So that's it. But real world assets aren't sexy at the moment. People aren't talking about it. And, you know, that's something that Rand actually taught me. You know, we were looking at coins way back in the day, my banter days, and he said, well, it's fine, but it's not sexy. And funny enough, a lot of the not sexy calls just didn't do anything. You know, brilliant TA, everything was lined up. It has to go, and then it just sits there because it's not sexy. So yeah, that's where we're at the moment with these kind of things. Okay, Adolfo from Portugal, thanks so much for taking the time, giving me a message, telling me where you're tuning in from. You have a lovely day. For the rest of you guys, there's about 400 people joining in live. Yeah, thanks so much for the time. Let's see what Costin has to say. You provide so much valuable information to everyone and do very good and precise analysis. I hope your YouTube channel grows. It won't grow, my friend. I've been following you for years. The reality is it doesn't, because, you know, people want easy, people want this. So we're a select category, a small category in the big scale of things. I can probably do better presentation wise, maybe prepare a little bit more so I don't ramble so much, you know, and it's those kind of things, but I'm not doing it for the growth. I'm doing it just for my own bags, you know. As long as you guys keep me charting, I'm going to be honest about my own charts and investments as well. So, and it's boring if you don't have somebody to discuss the stuff with. But thanks so much for taking the time. Thanks for the good wishes. I really appreciate that, my friend. Share the content. If you want to help it grow, share the content. Get like-minded friends to join, and we can grow the community together. And that would be awesome, you know. Great analysis. Cheers. Thanks from UK. Thanks, mister. You have a great day, guys. I'm going to say goodbye. Remember, if you want to join my Discord, what you can do is you can do that through Bybit, and then you can come and join me. I'm going to probably be in the live trading room a little bit now afterwards, because we've got this trade that I need to, you know, see where we're at. You know, my initial purchase was there on a smaller version, and it just went to break even, and it's still doubling in. Got a couple of limit orders in there, so I need to decide how I want to shift my profit here, and that's it. And just as a quick reminder from my trades in the Discord, you know, if you join there, you subscribe, I try and hit around 35% profit a month. I don't always do it. Okay, so this is where I'm at. I'm around 27% from the trades I called. This one is still to be inputted in here. It's not in here yet. Yesterday I didn't take a trade. So just to give you an idea of expectation and how this works, and then obviously for those on the investment side as well, in the Discord I do have various ways that you can, you know, get in on that. Okay, so thanks so much for that, guys. You have a lovely day. Chat to you soon. I won't be live tomorrow. I'll probably be live again on Thursday. So see you then. Cheers. I'll keep hustling.
Subscribe now.